Afternoon, guys. Friday evening. Thought I'd do a little question and answer thing here. A couple things going on around here. I know I kind of let y'all in on my personal life a lot, but I want to tell y'all about something. I had a death in the family over the weekend. Well, it was Thursday night. It was my aunt. She passed away. She was like a mother to me. She meant a lot to me. She's an old wheeler from back in the day, you know. I told y'all, you know, that day in the life video that we made, where we went out there and looked at the 55 Chevrolet and the 46 Chevrolet and the race truck. Well, that 55 Chevrolet we was building for her, you know, and we got it done for her, but she didn't get to drive it, but she did get to look at it, and she loved it, and sit in it and stuff like that. But I want to show y'all this. Johnny Thompson Jr. on our Facebook group, his brother makes these flowers out of sheet metal. I took that, Johnny gave me. He actually gave this to me and Jennifer for a wedding gift, but I'm going to give it to Aunt Dee Dee. That was her name. Her name was Dee Dee. I made this on the lathe. Turned this down, pressed this piece of aluminum up on there, and we're just going to put this in the ground by her tomb, by her gravestone, because she loved flowers. We just let it, you know, age the way it is. This is chromium, this aluminum, and that's sheet metal, so it ought to age pretty good and look cool. I think she'll really like it. But I wanted to tell y'all about that. She was a hell of a woman. She reminded me a lot of Jennifer, the way Jennifer is. All the years of racing that truck and building hot rods, and she was always with us and behind us, and she liked the stuff. I mean, we built Volkswagens with bus axles under them and 40s on them and tractor tires, and I mean all kind of stuff over the years. And I stayed out there from the time I hung out with her and my uncle since I was 4 years old. Just kind of, I don't know why. I really haven't ever asked why, but it's just, I was always there. And then when we started racing the truck, every weekend out there, you know, every day after work, we used to eat dinner out there every night because we was always working on the truck. And every track we went to, we had to change the gear ratio in it. And so it was, you know, I was out there a lot. Spent a lot of time with her. She videoed all of our runs, and she would get angles behind the truck where we could see what the suspension was doing, and you know, we could hear what the engine was doing before we got a recall tack and all that stuff that we got now. You know, back in the day when we first started, we did that shit for like 10 years, and she was there for us every step of the way. Never complained, never nothing. 2 o'clock in the morning at racetracks, she was always there for us. She was a good woman. I wanted to let y'all in on that. That's the videos I made last weekend, and some of the stuff I did last weekend was just short and kind of not very well, but I was just trying to get my mind off all of it. You know, cancer's some terrible stuff. It's just terrible. But did get some good news. Got some good news too. I mean, this weekend. And JP, my son, who's been at Parris Island, becoming a Marine, going up there Thursday. We'll be bringing him back with us Saturday. He's graduating. He's doing what they call, I think they call a crucible now. And for the next, he started it yesterday. It's for 48 or 50 hours. They're on a mission in that swamp at Parris Island. And they don't get but like 3 or 4 hours of sleep. They get 2 MREs to take with them, and they have to complete the mission. JP did make a squad leader. He's a squad leader of his group, so I'm proud of him for that. He's gained about 40 pounds of muscle. He doesn't even look like the same kid. I've seen a picture of him online on Parris Island's got a website, I believe that, but they do. And anyway, he'll be coming back, and I think he'll be on for 10 days, and then he's going to do some more training in North Carolina. But anyway, that's good news. You know, he don't know about his aunt yet or anything, but I'm gonna tell him when I get him back home, you know, and everything settles down, and he's been here a day or so. I'll let him know about it, or he may ask because he knew she was sick. She fought the shit for 2 years. You know, it's just that stuff eats you up. I mean, it. I've seen it take some very strong people out of this world. You know, it's terrible stuff. But anyway, let's get to the questions. I get a lot of questions on the videos, and I answer all of them that I can. You know, you guys on the group know I try. You know, anyway. And I want to thank you guys on the group, on Rusty 411, on the Facebook group, because there's a lot of y'all, man. Y'all step in there and y'all help out each other out and stuff, and that's why I did that. I didn't put the Facebook group together to, you know, make it an extension of the channel. I kind of made it a group for all you guys, where y'all can talk back and forth and help each other out and show your stuff and show what you're doing and what y'all planning on, and it's working, and I like that. There's like 300 something members on there now. It's pretty cool. And I know I'm not on there a lot. You know, I might be on there on the weekend here and there. But guys, I'm busy. You know, between trying to make videos and you know, working and throttle bodies, and which the throttle bodies are still at the state they were a while back. I just don't have time, guys. Maybe when we get the Jeep done this time, and we get it where we can just go trail riding, which is what our plan is, then I can get on that kind of stuff and get some of that stuff done. But right now, it's just time-wise, it just ain't working out for me. But you know, we'll get there. But some of the questions I got, comments and questions about the Jeep. Yep, you know, guys want me to get boggers instead of super swampers. I like boggers. They work really, really good, but they're really, really expensive, and I can't afford that kind. So, you know, a 39.5 bogger, 15 bogger, and a 39.5 super swamper is like way different in price. And I like the super swampers. They pull in both directions. They're an all-around good mud tire. And they do bite good, but they don't bite like a bogger does. And I got Red Rooster says, your last video you said you were nuts. I can see why. Yeah, I'm pretty crazy, man. I was just on that video when I was in the canal. That's what I build it for, man, is to go out there and play. I don't, you know, I'm lucky I got it that way, and I can do it, you know, do that and just bring it home. And Skirid, the usernames are kind of funny, but guys asking what PSI I run on those tires. What PSI would I run in those big tires like that? We don't really air down here. I mean, I do a little bit. Like, I'll take it down to 18, 20 pounds if we're going to be out there all weekend, because I want it to ride real smooth and, you know, float around. Because you ride for 8-10 hours every day, it starts to work on your back and everything else. So if you can, I bag them down for that. But we don't really bag our tires here. We don't really air down here. We don't have anything to climb over except trees. You know, and they're pretty easy to get over. They're especially when they're dry, you get good grip on them. Mike Harris asked, hey Rusty, do you have any trouble with that Dana 30 high fill, filling it up that high in the diff and causing oil leaks? No, it shouldn't, man. It shouldn't cause any oil leaks. If your tube seals are good and your pinion seal's good, it shouldn't cause any oil leaks. Now, I understand what you're asking about it, you know, building up more pressure and maybe puking some out the vent tube or something like that. I have heard of them doing that. A buddy of mine's got an LJ with a Dana 44, and he's got a high fill on it, and it did that to him, but he just dropped the level back down to where it's supposed to be and it quit doing it. But I myself have not had that problem at all. And my rear holds like almost 5 quarts with that high fill. So I wouldn't worry about it. It ain't going to blow your seals out. The only way you're going to blow your seals out is if your vent's stopped up, your vent tube's stopped up, and it can't get no air. It can't move the air back and forth with pressure. And the vacuum when it cools off. And I got a guy asking if the Jeep's going to turn left and right with the 39.5s on it. And he said never mind. And he watched the other video. Videos have been kind of strung out, guys, because they have had a lot going on with my aunt and stuff. And, you know, it is what it is. It's life. And Steve Ballard asks, you know, how much height are we going to gain from putting 39.5s on there versus the 36s? It's going to be around 2 inches, Steve, up under the diff, because it's a radius, and the way you figure, you're only going to have, it's going to bring it up about 2 inches, which is a lot. Now, I'm not trying to, you know, that's a pretty good bit, 2 inches up under that diff, because we get hung up on ruts here. It's not rocks or, you know, trees, you know, sometimes trees, but mostly it's ruts. That's one of the reasons I want to use the smaller axles and keep them and make them work, is because all the damn ground clearance it's going to have. It's going to be hard to bottom out in a rut with 40s and a Dana 30 in the front and an 825 in the back shaped. I mean, it's going to have some ground clearance, and that's one of the main reasons I want to do it, is ground clearance, and I want to keep it XJ just to see if it'll work. I think it will. I think it's going to be just fine. And Nick Dermer says the 3.75 back spacing is good on the rims. Yeah, that's what the steel wheels are that I run. Mr. Greger says, love the intro video. We've had that thing forever, but he wanted to know if I played the guitar in it. I don't. I'm not. No, I don't. But we just picked that somewhere. We've had that intro video forever. I always forget to put it on there. And everybody's saying get the 40s, get the 40s, get the 40s. I mean, I think everybody said 40s, but a couple people. And I know some of you guys say, man, 37s would be perfect and 38.5s would be perfect, the skinny ones. They would be, but man, when you're running with guys with 40s, I mean with 40s and 44s, it's not going to cut it, you know. It just ain't. We're going to make this work. If we have to do whatever, we're going to make it work with the axles that's in it, one way or the other. Waterfall asks, do you plan on keeping the Dana 30? Yes, we are. With the 40s, maybe get some RCV shafts, and maybe 488s. We got 456s, and the RCV shafts won't work with my setup because of the locking hubs. The stub shaft on those RCVs are about that long for factory. My stub shaft's probably that long coming out of into the hub, which is going to make that axle stronger too. Anyway, they won't work, man. If it spits the U-joint out of it, we'll put those square U-joints in it with the crosses with the bronze caps. They don't have needle bearings, they got bronze bushings in there. That's what we'll do. We'll do that. We could probably do that on the lathe to the super joints and make them stronger. Do away with the needle bearings, because mine don't turn on the highway. I told him, you know, I answered that question. A lot of these I've already answered. I'm just reading it so everybody can hear it if you didn't look. Are you going to run 39.5s on the Dana 30? Yeah, we're going to do that. The guy saying, Sean is saying that, you know, word of advice on the Iron Rock off-road truss for the front end, that he had clearance issues with it. I'm going to use the truss that I showed in the video when I made. Dan Hembrick asked if those 456s are going to work with the 40s. Yeah, they will, man. There's a couple guys on that. Rocky Mountain user asked the same thing. The 456s will work fine for me. I mean, you can, a 488 and a 456 is very little difference there, but they'll work fine for me. I drive mine to the woods, put it in 4-low, and I don't take it out all weekend. It stays in 4-low, so it'll do good with them. The most of it's the weight of the tire, and they're not much heavier. They're a little bit taller. If you, in the scope of things, they're only 2 inches taller than what we got. So we'll see. I think they'll be fine. I ran 36s with 355 gears for over a year, and they did fine. So there's not as much spread there as far as the tire and the gear goes as it was before. And Jeep XJ want to know an adjustable control arm for the Jeeps that's affordable, won't break the bank. Rough Country, man. If you read the forums, Rough Country, they trash them out, but I don't see it. I don't see it. I mean, I've had none but good luck out of them. They warranty their bushings forever. All you got to do is call them, and they'll send you either another arm or a bushing or whatever. A buddy of mine's had to do that already, but his lift's 2 years old, and he rock climbs with it. That's all he does with it. Goes to Ocala with it. What's my setup? Ryan Phillips, hey Rusty, what's the front axle setup? Fred Knight, the brake lines look tight. They are, man. They're right at the point of being too damn short. I got to get something for it. I just ain't done it yet. Tanner asked, what's the reason for the locking hubs? Why do that? That's a good question, because guys my age have been around locking hubs. That's all they had back in the day, unless you had an old military Dana 60 and they didn't have locking hubs on those. They were just direct drive type of deal, kind of like everything is now. I'm doing that, Tanner, because I wanted the locking hubs, because I don't know how many times we have been out in the forest. Say a guy breaks the front axle, we got to pull the hub, get the long end out, put the stub shaft back in, put the nut back on, and tighten it all back up to get out of there. I just want to be able to, if I break something, unlock the hub and go home. And that's why I got them. And also I got them so I could run my front pinion and ring at 5 thousandths of backlash. That way I got my pinion down in that ring gear as deep as I can get it without it binding. And if you set it up like that, it makes it stronger, but you can't drive it on the highway like that, because if it gets hot, it'll start binding up. But that's why I run them. I mean, I wanted to stop the drive shaft wearing out in the front so much, because I used to go through them things, and I wanted to be able to unlock my hubs and come to the house if something broke, and I wanted to be able to set that front diff up as strong as possible without having to worry about it heating up on the highway. So that's why I got them. They're expensive, and so far they've been good. Y'all know I was skeptical when I first got them, but so far they've done pretty good. I think I answered that to Tanner. I just want to tell everybody. South Georgia Jeepers said it's going to be a mega beast with the big tires. He's looking forward to the ladder bar setup. Said he uses the rough stuff kit in his Jeep. That's probably what we'll do too, man, because I got Heimies I showed y'all, but I want to save those for the steering. And you can get that rough stuff kit, and it's the whole deal, you know, everything but the cross member, and you just weld it all up, put it in there. That's probably what we'll do. We're probably going to get Iron Rock truss. I think it's the Iron Rock truss that's got spots for the bump stops. What steering setup am I using? You know, most everybody knows that. We're going to make another video. Like the video we started the channel out with was Jeep XJ on 36s, and I went through it. But we're going to have to do that again, because we've gotten a lot of subscribers since then, and a lot of people don't know what all we've done to it, because I haven't made playlists and stuff like that. I guess I need to do that on all the upgrade stuff, but I don't do very well at showing the upgrades. I do better at saying, okay, here's what we did. You know, here's what we're going to do, here's what we did. It's easier for me to do it that way, because if I try to video everything, you don't get anything done. And what people like the most, what you guys like the most, is the trail riding videos, the down in it, you know, raising hell trail riding videos, and that's what I like too. So the more I make videos of that stuff, of like actually putting the parts on and bolting it together, and this is how this goes, the longer it's going to take for us to get back in the woods. We ain't been out here in 3 months. We ain't been out here since JP left. But we're going as soon as we get these tires on there. Where was I at? what's that up? It's the PCS steering exhaust on it. Somebody want me to make a waterproofing video, how I waterproof it. I wouldn't say it's waterproof, I'd say it's water resistant. And then everybody's asking about the 36s, they want to buy them, but they're already spoken for, man. I got a cousin up in Fitzgerald that he got an XJ because of me, and he likes the XJ, and he don't have a lot of money to spend on it. He's the one in the black XJ that was in a couple of our videos, and he's running on 33s. I'm probably just going to give them to him, you know, where he's got something bigger to ride on when he comes down with us. Just let him take them. I don't like selling stuff too much. I always see every flaw in everything I'm going to sell, and if it ain't perfect, I don't like selling stuff. And Henry says he would just leave it the way it is and bump stop it out. Now, I wanted to make a video on this and explain it, and why I don't really want to do it that way. The less up travel you have on your wheels or your tires before they touch that bump stop, the less of that you have, the more apt it's going to be to break shit. Because when you bump stop that wheel out, the tire, say you're on a log or a rock, you ride it there on it, and it gets on that bump stop, you're pushing the whole Jeep is leaning on that tire, pushing down. That spring will give a little bit. It'll let that tire come up a little bit. Yes, it takes some of the bite out of it, but when you're leaning down that tire with that Jeep like this, and you go to turn it, it's more apt to break axles and to break shit. That's why it don't matter what you got in front of it. You bind it up, it's gonna break. Now, yeah, it's gonna bite too now, and that's why the rock climbing guys like that stuff. That's why they run big axles and stuff, because they want to bind that tire up, squat the whole way to that Jeep on that tire, and make it go up what they want to go up. See, I don't do any of that, so I try to limit mine from going up and touching like that. All these little tricks like that, if you don't need it to do that, you know, it's still going to come up and hit the bump stop. But what I'm saying is, I don't want every single thing that I climb over to be on the bump stop. I want to have some spring there. That red XJ in my videos that we got, my buddy Justin's got it. He built it. I didn't build it. He did. But he put 35-inch MTRs on it with a 4-inch lift. It don't have but about that much up. And that's it. It's got a lot of down, but very little up. And it breaks a lot of axles because everything he goes over, it's got the weight of the Jeep on it. Now that son of a bitch will climb anything. I think it'll climb straight up a wall, but I want to make mine live in the trails. Now, you could say, well, why the hell are you putting 40s on it? I want to be able to go anywhere in the trail and have it survive. So I'm going to take every precaution that I can as far as the bump stops to help it live. You know, where I ain't got to baby it when I go over stuff. Some of y'all might disagree with that theory there, but that's the way I look at it. That's why the mud truck has 40 spline axle, Dana 60 in the rear gun drilled axles to keep it from breaking, because it broke everything we put on it, including all the bolts to hold the axle in the floater. That truck's got 1,000 horsepower. I don't know if I said this already. It's got 1,000 horsepower on a dyno machine. The engine's dyno, a little over 1,000 horsepower. It's got 900 foot-pounds of torque. The only way we could get the rear end to live, the Dana 60, is 40 spline gun drilled axles in the rear of it. The front is a Dana 44 set up at 5 thousandths of backlash, stock axles with spicer joints in it, and it lives. The front end does. The rear end just annihilates it for the reason it is, when it takes off with them cut boggers, it does a wheelie. It pulls the front end about this high off the ground, and then it holds one tire up all the way through there. We got a limited slip in the front. All that weight planted on that rear end with all that torque will rip shit out. It's the same thing as if you put bump stops on there and you kneel the Jeep down. That's what I call it, kneeling. You're kneeling it down on that tire and making it go up. It's either going to go up what you put it on, or it's going to rip the axle out of it. And a lot of you will be like, well, shit, it ain't worth having if it ain't gonna climb up the stuff you want it to. It'll still climb when it's riding on that spring. And it will definitely climb with that Jeep needle down on it. I know that, but I don't want to put my Dana 30 in that situation, but every now and then, not every single time I go over something. So we're going to clearance it, give it lots of up, to where I can go over most things without it being on the bump stops, to save parts. It's just the way I want to do it. That's why I'm not bumping it out. I said you can move the rear end back by changing the pin location on the perch, on the spring perch. That's how I'm going to do it. The XJ's got 3 in it from the factory. I think the first thing I'm going to try is drill out the front one, move it to that. It'll only be a 1/4 inch, but it might be enough. We may try that first before we spend any money on spring perches. And Mr. 98 Cherokee, Jeep Cherokee, should have put jack on left rear, then stuff the right front. I didn't have enough room to do that on that side. Yeah, I know you should do it that way, but I wanted to spin the tire too, you know, where I could see what it was doing. I will do it that way. I think I said that in the last video. So everybody's saying if you would move it back, move the rear end back and trim it off, you know, cut and fold that rear. I don't want to do that, but I'm gonna make it. If we have to cut and fold the rear back 1/4 panel, we will. If we don't, we're not going to. I'm gonna try not to do it, but if we have to, we have to. Everybody likes the trail riding videos. I know you guys like it, man, and I'm working on getting it back together where we can get out here and get deeper in there than we've been before. It takes time. Y'all know how it is. Money's tight, and time to do it's tight for me. It's the biggest problem. Somebody commented on my 2 ways of moving carrier bearer, and they used a heat gun instead of a blowtorch to remove the carrier bearer, and that worked too, as long as you get an even heat. You want even heat around those rings. I just heated it up in one spot because I knew I was going to be quick with it and just pull it off there. But if you get one that's stubborn, you can heat it all the way around is what you want to do, and then pull it off. But usually they come off pretty easy unless they've been on there forever. Oh, the Mustang's running good. Mr. Ben's got the upholstery done on it and new windshield put in it and all kinds of stuff. And he's not having no problems with the clutch since I put the carburetor on there. Them things are hard to drive from the factory with that fuel injection on there. They wanted to whoop, 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 whoop when you take off. They were too lean. Just too lean. And let's see here. People on the alternator upgrade videos. I get lots of questions. I think I'm up to like 70,000 questions, and I've answered a lot of them. I don't ignore my questions on YouTube or my comments unless it's somebody saying must be nice to be rich. I got one of them the other day, and I'm like, what the heck? I'm not rich. If I was rich, I'd have 10 XJs like that, not one. I'd have one with 1 tons under it, one stock like it is, one with 1 tons, one with 2.5 tons, and one with 5 tons and tractors on it. And I'd go 4.0 LS motor, big block Chevrolet, big block Ford. Shit, I might put a Hemi in one of them. That'd be the way to go. Then we'd be Mopar. Dan Allen said he would use V-band clamps, on that header. That probably would be a good idea, but I didn't have any. I used what I had. Anyway, I guess that's enough of this. I just wanted to tell y'all what was going on, and I don't even know where I started, where I left off, because my attention span's about that long. But we're going to get the Jeep done. Me and Jennifer talked about it this morning. We're going to try to get all the parts here by the end of November, and get them all on there where we can go trail riding again. But when we get it back together, probably by the end of November, 1st, 2nd, 3rd of December, something like that. It's better here in Florida to ride in the wintertime. It's so much nicer because it's cooled off and it's not so damn hot, and the mosquitoes, yellow flies, I mean, it is terrible out there this time of year, especially after a hurricane. Now, when I get it back together, we'll go trail riding again, you know, after hunting season, or we'll do a night ride during hunting season. They ain't out there hunting during that night time, but when we get it all back together and it's straight, we flexed it, we know it ain't gonna rub, everything's good, we're ready to go see if it'll break. What we're gonna do is, you know me, I'm not gonna go out there and baby it and go take down some nice roads first. We're gonna go for the gusto right off the bat. I'm gonna know if it's gonna break the first time we go out there. We're gonna go to the Jeep Freaks, trail riding with the Jeep Freaks, when we were in that mud hole for 5 hours and ended up to be 2 days after we got everything out of there, because Johnny tore his front end out. Mike's was stuck in there. We had to get a tractor truck and go get it out of there because nobody could get to it. We're going to go back there. I'm going to get myself, Luke Burns with the big TJ, Big Mike with the 44 ZJ with 44 boggers on it. We'll go get him. We'll get Mike with the big Dodge with the 40s. Probably Joe that's got the LJ. He's got big tires on his. And my cousin Kevin. Might get with the South Georgia Jeeper boys if they won't come down here. And anyway, we're going to go and shoot that whole trail from one end to the other. It's probably only, I'd say, 5 miles through there. But it's swamp head, sinkhole, swamp head, all the way through there. Every single hole is just bad, bad, bad. Now, if it gets in there and gets too deep and it's coming over the damn hood, then we'll have to come out of there and wait till it dries up some. But that's my plans. We're going to go for the gusto. The first hole is the bad one, the real bad one. And then all of them are bad, but the first one is where nobody's been through there. But that's where we're going first with it. We're going to go in there, and I'm either going to put Jennifer in it, and I'm going to film it, which is probably what will happen. But I'm going to have her pull up there to the head of it, of that swamp head, and hold it on the floor until she gets to the other end. And if it makes it through that abuse, without me in it to baby it or any of that stuff, it'll be fine. But that's what we're going to do. When we get it running, we'll go out there to Hell's Bay, what I've named it Hell's Bay. We're going to run that trail from one end to the other in the very first video when we go back out. I'm going to get Luke and everybody together, and we're going to go out there and conquer that damn trail, because we've all wanted to go through there all the way without getting stuck. And it probably won't happen. It'll probably still get stuck in there, because I've seen a tractor truck in there with fucking tires that tall, stuck. And not stuck, but going down in it, having to back up and go forward and back up and go forward to get out of it. And he made it about to where Mike was stuck at. But they're heavy. Those tractor trucks are heavy, so you know, it'll be like that with big tractor ruts in it. It'll rain and wash all of it down in the tractor ruts, and you can go back through there. But the ground, like if that mud hole, if you walk around the grass around it and you move like this on the ground, you can see it moving all around you. Yeah, I don't think we'll ever be able to go straight through it, but we'll see. That's the plan, though. We're going to get it all back together, get everything where I'm happy with it, triple check all the U-joints, drive shafts, everything, and get it straight. And we're going to go out there to that Hell's Bay Road, and we're going to go through there with it. And if it makes it out the other end of that to the highway with all the stuff still under it, we're good for trail riding for the whole winter. But guys, y'all take it easy, and I'll holler at you later. If I get out there and mess with that rear end this weekend, I'll make a video on it, show y'all what I did, you know, typical thing I do, and we'll go from there with it. But y'all take it easy, and We'll holler at you later, man. All right, bye.